TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donation. Shalom ve'erev tov, good evening. Welcome to our daily TV7 Israel News Bulletin broadcast from Jerusalem. U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Marco Rubio warns for talks to actually lead to something meaningful, the Islamic Republic will have to include the range of ballistic missiles, which the Ayatollah regime vehemently objects to. Greek Defense Minister Nikos Dendias urges the United States to evaluate Turkey's policies for the future. And Turkey signs separate defense agreements with both the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as well as Egypt, respectively. Contrary to reports, the meeting between the United States and Iranian representatives in Oman will proceed as scheduled tomorrow. The scope of the talks remain unclear amid conflicting public statements by both Iranian and American officials on that issue. According to Ayatollah regime officials, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei of the Islamic Republic, has granted Tehran's top diplomat Abbas Araghchi a mandate to exclusively talk on the nuclear portfolio. In contrast, U.S. officials explicitly state that any agreement must address the Islamic Republic's ballistic missiles program and support for terror proxies around the region and beyond.
I think in order for talks to actually lead to something meaningful, they will have to include certain things. And that includes the range of their ballistic missiles. That includes their sponsorship of terrorist organizations across the region. That includes the nuclear program, and that includes the treatment of their own people. The fundamental problem Iran faces and the regime faces right now is that what people are on the streets complaining about, this regime cannot address. They cannot address it because it's economic. Those problems remain. And one of the reasons why the Iranian regime cannot provide the people of Iran the quality of life that they deserve is because they're spending all their money, they're spending all their resources of what is a rich country sponsoring terrorism, sponsoring all these proxy groups around the world, exporting, as they call it, their revolution.
U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Marco Rubio further seized the opportunity to push back at criticism over President Donald Trump's agreement to talk with the Ayatollah regime, stressing that talking to the tyrants in Tehran should not be construed as a concession.
Let me back up and say from a big picture perspective, I think it's pretty clear right now, President Trump is willing to talk to and meet with and engage with anyone in the world. I mean, that we don't view meetings as a concession. We don't view meetings as even legitimization. It is our willingness to sit and listen and talk to anyone, any adversary, any ally, obviously, but anyone around the world. And so the president's always been open to that. He showed that in the first administration, and he's showing it again now. And so I think if there's an opportunity to engage directly with counterparts in the Iranian regime, the United States would be open to that, and that's what we're open to. We thought we had an established forum that had been agreed to. In Turkey, it was put together by a number of partners who wanted to attend and be a part of it. I saw conflicting reports yesterday from the Iranian side saying that they had not agreed to that. So that's still being worked through. At the end of the day, the United States is prepared to engage and has always been prepared to engage with Iran.
Washington's top diplomat continued by addressing the internal conflict in Iran, stressing that U.S. President Donald Trump has a list of options at his disposal to hold the Ayatollah regime responsible if and when the American leader deems it necessary.
The leadership of Iran at the clerical level does not reflect the people of Iran. I know of no other country where there's a bigger difference between the people that lead the country and the people who live there. And so our hope resides in that. As far as the president's views on the way protesters were treated, he was very clear about it. And as you saw, part of what the president said publicly prevented mass executions that were being planned and we're on the precipice of. And obviously beyond that, the president retains a number of options to how he responds to that and future events.
It is important to know that while additional American military assets continue to stream into the Middle East, with additional cargo aircraft delivering additional military systems and munitions over the course of the past 24 hours alone, the Islamic Republic of Iran has conducted a large-scale tactical air defense exercise featuring outdated second-generation F-5 aircraft, which were used by the United States Air Force in the Vietnam War, and surface-to-air capabilities that don't have the capacity or range to even intercept any of the US 4th or 5th generation aircraft. Meanwhile, Qatar, Turkey, and other regional state actors have reportedly proposed to the United States and Iran a framework for their discussions in Oman tomorrow, as part of which the Ayatollah regime would commit to freezing its uranium enrichment for up to 3 years, after which Iran would once again be permitted to enrich uranium at levels up to 1.5%, in addition to the relocation of uranium in Iran's possession currently to a third country. Moreover, the Islamic Republic would also be expected to limit its ballistic missiles program and freeze any type of support for Tehran's regional proxies in the region. In exchange, per a number of circulating reports, the United States would then agree to a periodic no-aggression pact and the lifting of sanctions. And while there is no confirmation of whether the United States would actually agree to any such terms, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, during his visit to Qatar earlier today, highlighted the Qatari Emir's extensive work to de-escalate the situation between Tehran and Washington.
Diese Region hier ist eine Region, die immer wieder auch nach politischer.
This region is one that is constantly searching for political stability. Qatar's Emir plays a very important role in this. In all my conversations yesterday and here today, great concern has been expressed about a further escalation in the conflict with Iran. The Iranian airstrikes from last June are still very much on our minds here, and we all strongly condemn these attacks. Yes, I would also like to call on the Iranian leadership once again from this side to really enter into dialogue now, to end the aggression, and to abandon the nuclear program. To end it, as internationally agreed, and above all to protect countries like Qatar, Jordan, and Israel from further military threats.
Von weiteren militärischen Bedrohungen zu verschonen.
Turning to Washington, where Greek Defense Minister Nikos Dendias, in a Q&A session at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, or FDD, was asked about the latest gains by Turkey, which is seemingly soaring geopolitically in the region at the expense of the diminishing power of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Turkey has had a remarkable surge in the region. Right? We see it in Syria. We see it in Gaza, making inroads reportedly in Lebanon, the Horn of Africa, and beyond. And I think that if there is in fact a war between the United States and Iran, I'm going to expect that Iran loses power and Turkey probably gains. This is not in the interest of Greece, and it is not in the interest of Israel.
I would totally agree with you that Turkey has been extremely successful in the last few years. You mentioned a number of Turkish successes. I will add Libya to it. There's a military presence in Western Libya now, and I believe that Turkey is also creating an understanding with Eastern Libya. And also Turkey is present in Africa, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. When I was foreign minister and I was flying around Africa, there was clearly Turkish presence around. Twice I found President Erdogan on the ground. So Turkey has been extremely successful. Also has been extremely successful in the Southern Caucasus.
The top defense official of Athens continued by stressing that while he should not be construed as anti-Turkish, he views Ankara's foreign policy as hostile towards the West, which threatens both Israel and Greece and fails to conform with Western interests, including those of the United States in particular. Defense Minister Dendias further stressed that the new defense partnership between Greece and Israel was formed as a reaction to common challenges, that it did not aim to exclude or push back at Turkey.
As far as Greece and Israel is concerned, well, Greece and Israel is reacting to common challenges. So, we don't try to keep Turkey out. We're not trying to exclude Turkey from what we're doing. We would love if eventually Turkey would subscribe to what we're doing and come and join us. But that has certain preconditions.
It is important to note that the remarks by the Greek Defense Minister were made after Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan concluded two separate state visits to both the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Egypt, during the course of which Ankara has signed separate defense agreements with both Riyadh and Cairo, respectively. Moreover, President Erdogan and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi earlier today have voiced their determination to strengthen their cooperation vis-à-vis the Gaza Strip, Libya, Somalia, and other locations of overlapping interests. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to seize this opportunity to voice my gratitude. If you are a supporter of TV7 Israel, your donation is essential in helping us produce our daily news updates from here in Jerusalem. If you haven't yet supported TV7 Israel, which is exclusively donation-based, please consider doing so. You can donate via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Separately, as ever, pray for our brothers and sisters facing persecution globally, including those living in Iran, Syria, Nigeria, and among a long list of other nations. And of course, as ever, pray also for the peace of Jerusalem and redemption of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Tov, and God willing, until our next update. Shalom from Jerusalem.